up, everyone? Curtis here with another episode of Everything Entrepreneurial. In this episode, I'm speaking with Craig Colgan. Craig is the founder of Sailor Sharkey Barbers. His barber shops encapsulate the art of traditional barbering combined with a contemporary attitude towards the busy lifestyle of a modern day gentleman. Sailor Sharkey offers a place where style-conscious men can experience traditional barbering and contemporary grooming in a relaxed yet refined environment. I hope you enjoyed the episode. All right, Craig, thanks very much for coming on Everything Entrepreneurial. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your business?
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on, man. My name is Craig Colgan. I own a barber shop called Sailor Sharkey Barbers. It's based in the Louth area. I was going to say Dundalk, but I actually very recently just I'm in the middle of moving it over to an area in Dundalk called Blackrock. It's just out to the coast anyway, so it's kind of in the middle of moving the two shops. But the shop is open about 3.5 years, and as I said, it's been growing. It's based on a boxer, actually a heavyweight world champion boxer from Dundalk called Tom Sharkey, and that's where all the branding and all kind of comes in. And I'm a sports fan, and it's kind of a nice brand, a nice sports related shop. So that's the background of it. And as I said, open 3 years, and as I said, moving on to my second shop now, in probably the 15th of November is when it's going to be opening.
That's brilliant. And tell us a little bit about your career thus far. Are you a barber yourself, or what experience do you have, and why did you want to set up your own shop?
Yeah, it's a longer story than you'd expect. So I worked in sales and marketing my whole life. I'm 33 years old, and probably from the age of 20, I kind of worked in different sales environments and enjoyed it, and I always did. But I always secretly inside kind of wanted my own business, and so kind of when I was 28, 29, I was kind of coming to an age that you kind of thought, right, well, you want to give this a go at some stage, but before, maybe life gets a bit too complicated that you can't take as many risks, shall we say. Yeah. And and literally to answer your question, yes, I am a barber. So I had to train myself to become a barber, but I very much knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to run a business. I didn't have the time necessarily to go through the ropes of becoming a junior barber, doing 5 years growing and stuff. So you had to learn fast. So I did lots and lots and lots of courses, practice, things to get me ready. So my first barbering job was literally when I owned my own shop, when I opened the door. So and that was it. And kind of in business, your reputation, it's a tough one, because if you balls everybody up, like, people aren't coming back, so you have to, and at the start there was a lot of that going on, sadly, but you had to take the risk to know that you were getting better. And I kind of had a goal of running a successful business and becoming a good barber, and that's, there was negatives to that, the way I was going about it, but I just knew that was the risk. Some people would just think you're a chance, or some people think you're this and this, and that's okay, because I had a longer term goal, and I had to kind of go through probably 6 to 12 months of that survival mode for the business. Yeah. That people maybe disregarded it, and I had to really put my head down and focus on the longer term objectives of the success that I wanted. But so that's really, I worked in sales and marketing nearly kind of my whole life, and probably the last 3 to 4 years I've been in the kind of self-employed barbering world.
Brilliant. So you actually have a lot of experience, and you have a lot of blended skills that will actually help you start your business. You look after the sales and marketing side yourself. You're a barber. You probably do a bit of HR, the accounting and everything like that. Do you kind of do all that yourself, or do you outsource? Like, how did you manage starting the business if this was all new to you?
Yeah, it was. And it was kind of the fun part of it as well. I always just wanted, my dad ran businesses all his life, and I always kind of seen that as, he could come and go, or probably not as much as he thought. When I was a kid, I seen him kind of always able to have free time, but he was probably, I'd also see him doing accounts at 4 a.m. on his own in an office. So, there's good and bad points. But so I think because it was the environment I was brought up in, I always wanted to do my own thing. So you referenced the accounts, the social media, the branding, I'm very proud of the branding. And a friend of mine, Colin, he did that. And, he's from Dundalk. I'm originally not from Dundalk, so he was really able to, you know, bring in the community, show the passion of the boxing element in Dundalk, show the connection between the town and Tom Sharkey and stuff. And then so the website and the brand and stuff was very important to me. I came from an environment that was key. There's more barbers that are going down the branding route and all this sort of stuff now, but when I did, and that's not too long ago, it wasn't as popular to have really good branding and stuff like that, and a website even, by the way. So, you know, that was really important for me, and he looked after that. Now I run it because, as I said, if updates happen and stuff like that, I update things or move things around. And the social media, when I started, again, was all me. I look back and I'm nearly embarrassed by some of the stuff that I have up, but like, it's all a journey, you know. And now I pay a lady that would do 90% of my social media. Like, I'd put up the odd thing or something, but in general, I concentrate on the business, and she does that element. So and the accounts as well. Obviously, you have an accountant, but like I do my accounts and stuff. But like, it literally just it takes time, and you find yourself, right, well, what's more important for me? Putting in time, you know, practicing, cutting, learning new styles, or doing my social. Both very important, but if somebody else can, you know, if you can outsource things, I'm finding 100%. I'm doing a bit more of that. And so yeah, to answer your question, I've gone a long way around it, but I think at the start I did everything. You took on everything. You had no other choice. You didn't know everything. Yeah, you didn't know, oh, could I reach out to somebody? And one thing I am kind of good at is, you know, if I meet people like yourself or like anybody else in business, I ask questions. You know, I to be inquisitive. I go, how do you do this better? Because I'm struggling at that. And I think most self-employed people in Ireland, we all want to help out each other. You know, we all know the struggles in life that we've all had, you know, and continue to, you know, the worries, to this and this. And I think everybody's great with advice that I found. If I've ever asked somebody something, could you help me out here or give me advice? Nobody's ever said no. So I think that's a good thing that I have, that I'd never be afraid to.
That's a nice mindset to have.
Yeah, and again, people ask me then, you know, you see a circle going around that, you know, you're then helping out maybe other people setting up and different things. But yeah, it's just from the start I was doing everything, and then I kind of, as it got on, as I said, I'm 3 years here, 3 years in business, new shop coming and stuff like that. So your goals change as well, and so what you wanted, like the first year or the first whatever, was literally survival mode of the business.
Head above water, quick job.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Making sure that enough money came in, that, you know, bills were paid, that this happened, that you know, and then you kind of have like the sustainable model that you think, okay, we've got consistency here, and now then you kind of think your growth and stuff like that. Because ultimately, I want, like, it's funny. So I wanted to get into business, to be a businessman. And I was working on PayPal, which was a payment industry, and I was in the sales team and that. So I actually wanted to run a business, as in have other people run it for me. I had a secure job with a good salary. And ultimately, I found I couldn't do it. I had to commit. So I had to leave my job, and I had to learn the trade to a high level, you know, because how can you, and so then people used to say to me at the start, and it's funny, like, what are you and stuff, and then people say, oh, you're a barber, you're a businessman, and I always know I'm a businessman, but you're both, you're everything. And now, you know, you just need to have your goals kind of realigned every so often. So I still want to grow the business. I think the branding is brilliant. I think there's opportunities for franchise, and whether it be here or the States, but there's so much options there. But, you know, I really enjoy the barbering element now, whereas at the start I was, probably because I was nervous and I didn't know what I was at either at the start, but now I really enjoy both elements. So we just have to pick and choose kind of your battles and how you wish to grow the business now.
Yeah, I'd like to just go back to when you were saying you were in your full-time job and you had an idea that you wanted someone to run the business for you. I'd say there's a lot of people out there they have a full-time job, secure, everything like that, and they have these ideas, or they want to take that like leap of faith, first-time entrepreneur. Can you talk us through how you felt? Did you have to battle any demons? Was there, like, obviously you were obviously unsure, maybe a bit anxious, worried, like, would you fail, succeed, whatever it was? Talk me through how you kind of came over that and actually took that leap of faith, because many people would probably struggle at that point.
Yeah, and it's a huge thing. And the thing about that is when you set up your own business or you do something like that, you have to commit to it. And the thing is, and what I found is, what I was looking to do was a half-arsed option. It was me saying, I'm afraid to commit. So there's no issues with people wanting to kind of mitigate risk and stuff, because there's risk in everything. But I think if you really want something to work, you have to go balls deep into it. And that's with the risk element attached, like, you know, that you can turn around and say, right, well, there's X amount of risk, and you figure it out and you think what's your worst case and what's your best case and all this sort of stuff. So nobody should just run into their boss tomorrow and hand in their notice based on this.
Like
I would say, yeah, exactly. And there's more people that want to do these things than you'd think, but to be honest with you, so to go back, I remember it was coming up to my 30th, and you know, it's a milestone for most people, if I'm honest, and I wanted to do it in and around then, and yeah, it was funny. I was 7 years in the job and I just wasn't enjoying it. It was good money, and you know, you have your pension, you had your salary, you had this and this. You could do whatever you wanted, holidays, all this sort of crack. But I knew internally I wasn't happy, and I in my career, and I think I just judged that more. I put more weight on that than the security of a job. And to be honest with you, like I when I was doing kind of the course, and I was doing lots of different things. You know, I worked with some great people that I still kind of chat to today, but I did go up and just hand in my notice one of the days. And I remember telling my my girlfriend Anya, who has been a great help as well, in the sense of she worries more than me about everything, but then this new move. But when I set up about all this, because she just wants the best for me, and she has a kind nature to her, whereas I honestly, if it all fell apart, I'd go again, or I'd get a job. I don't think, you know, the world, you know, I think we worry about silly things in life. I know there's people with illnesses, people that can't kind of get themselves up out of bed in the morning, and that's a problem. I think taking a risk and seeing how it goes, that's not a problem to be worrying about. You know, that's something to enjoy. You know, there's not everybody has the opportunities to do these things. So yeah, I to be honest with you, that was the mindset. I went in going, if it fails, it fails, but I'm going to give it my best shot. And I did. A friend of mine actually sent me a link on Dundee that a lad was kind of selling up his barbershop in Dundalk, and I remember I just got him to get onto him, and that was it. And the deal, and it was just done, and I just handed him a notice, and it was just literally it. There was no magic point of, now there was fear then, because then there was not a lot of money coming in and stuff, but the actual initial commitment wasn't as hard for me, because I knew it was something I wanted to do, and I actually wasn't happy in what I was doing.
That's brilliant. And you touched on your support network quickly there with your partner, but what about your friends? What about your family? Obviously you said your dad was in business as well. Did you have a solid support network when you were going through the initial phases, starting up your business? Did they help spread the love?
Yeah, like sadly, like 90% of my friends are all bald, so I didn't get a lot of business. But all my friends have been great, like, you know, and I think they seen it in me as well, that they like there was no fear. There was still, you know, if I ever needed, you know, maybe a supporting, I definitely think with my friends anyway, that I could ask them. I've other friends that kind of do their own things as well, so you can always run ideas kind of by them. But again, the lads all been very supportive. My family, again, you know, they only just want what's best for you. They worry. All your friends and family are there for you through the good and bad times, but they worry. Whereas, you know, maybe I need to worry a bit more. Is kind of something that my missus always kind of says to me, that the term is horizontal that she references, but I don't you know, there's certain things in life that I that worry me, and that's, you know, as I said, family members being ill, different things like that, that worries you. You've no control over that. But yeah, I have a different perspective than maybe most people that I know in the context of things. Like, and I'll try my hardest to make this thing work, and it will grow. And I fully, by the way, believe it will, because of the plans and structures I'm putting in place. But however, if it doesn't, to me, it's not the end of the world in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, like, to be honest, all my family, I have 3 sisters as well, and again, everybody's would always kind of send you messages being, listen, we're proud of you, keep it going. And that's all. You, like, as I said, I've made all my decisions, you know, myself. So, but it's always great to have kind of friends, family, and your partner kind of backing everything that you do as well.
Yeah, not to dwell on COVID or anything like that, but I'm just interested myself in how you kind of managed that whole kind of buzz, I suppose. Like, how did you come? I'm sure you obviously had to close, reopen, close. Like, how did you manage all that? Was that quite stressful for yourself?
It was funny at the very start, if I was honest. I think the 14th of March was the first day it closed. And I remember thinking to myself, like everybody, we were thinking, Jesus, like, they're they closing this? And I remember just thinking to myself, oh, it's going to be 2 or 3 weeks. They're going to pay you. Enjoy yourself. And I kind of did at the start, to be honest. And I think, having chatted to most guys in my position, we've self-employed people worked ourselves to the ground, you know, and you're overthinking things, you're working late, you're doing things, you're never off. And I remember just thinking, this could be nice. Now, it turned out it wasn't. It was more long-term than 2 or 3 weeks that I potentially expected. But yeah, it was tough. It was tough because, you know, like that, I put everything in and its structures in place that this was going to build, and this was the growth model, and blah, 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 blah. And my business was closed, and I didn't fail. If you get me. So it was hard to get the head around it. And to be honest, again, with how I structured it out with bills and different things, and I had a great landlord that was not hammering on the rent and all that. So, like, I didn't have to, thankfully, worry financially, I'll be honest. But I during times I would have struggled mentally, because the type of person that I am, I'm always out doing things. I'm trying to do that. I'm doing this. You just couldn't do anything. And you couldn't, and especially my gig, you couldn't do anything online. You couldn't really, you know, to be honest. And so I just felt my hands were tied. And then, you know, you're open, closed. So you were just getting going, and you had to close again. And you know, and again, the big struggle was all of my friends and family all worked, whether it was somewhere in the hospitals, somewhere in kind of office jobs and stuff, but nobody else that I knew lost their job. So again, it was probably very hard for people to relate, although everybody was excellent, said, listen, how are you, la la la, but nobody really understood. And that was tough. That was tough, because people can be as honest as they want, but they don't just know what you're going through. And again, 90% of the time, like, you have to understand, we didn't know when we'd open. Yeah, we didn't know. You know, we all had like ideas and stuff like that. But that was it was a tough time. But what I did, I went back to college. I actually studied payrolling at Loan Institute, and you know, so these are things I've staff now, and myself on a salary and stuff, and it helps knowing how that works. You know, I would have done different things that kept me going. So, like, you know, you had bad days, I won't lie, but again, you try to get up every day, and that could be anything. That could be walking down the street to get a coffee just to break a day up and stuff like that. But you know, made plans for when we reopened, but again, even at that, it was hard to make plans, to be honest. So I think it's an interesting conversation if you chat to people in my industry and other industries that just had no hope or guidance, really. And so when we did kind of reopen, it was mental, as you can imagine, but just kind of happy I think we opened the 10th of May, and I think we're just all happy to be back to normal, and the kind of business, you see kind of cash coming in again and stuff like that. So I have to say, definitely kind of good to be back to normality.
Brilliant. I'm delighted for you as well. Just to touch on kind of like mental health or mindset, because it is an important issue. We kind of will steer away from business. What do you do in like your spare time or any downtime, if you do have any, What do you do to keep yourself fit, healthy, and inspired? What do you do?
I'm a big sports fan, and so I play for a local football club. So bits of training, you've matches and stuff. You're kind of integrating with, lads, bit of banter in that sense. I play a lot of golf with my friends, very badly, sadly, but so I'd have no problems in that and getting out and doing things. To be honest, I think when you reference kind of mental health and stuff, like sitting in the house doing nothing, watching like people talk to me, oh, did you see? Oh, it's a big thing. The Squid Games, things like that. And just Netflix. No, I can't sit and watch 10 hours on that. Like I can't. That actually does bad things for me. That I'm like, what are you wasting your time for? So I do try to get out and do bits and bobs, meet people, and I definitely enjoy that the outside. Go have a few pints with your mates and stuff. Go out for meals and stuff. But I try to play a bit of golf and play a bit of football and then five-a-side and different things as well. But definitely very conscious of always keeping going, because in my head I need to keep going. I need to keep that focus going, because as you do look after your mental health as well, for me the business actually does improve. You come up with fresher ideas. You get more grow to want to improve. Whereas, and I've had times of I couldn't be arsed and blah blah blah, and then a week goes by and that's where the kind of struggle starts. But like for me, again, I always was big into kind of coaching, and so I actually have like a business coach that I it's not as like every 2 weeks we do something. So he's brilliant. He's a local guy, Damien Shields, here in Dundalk, and again, it just I reevaluate my goals. So like I could be doing, the business could be doing well, and one of the last times that when I was chatting to him, I was like, it was flying and things were growing and all, but I just felt that I wasn't doing that, or things weren't moving forward. And the reason was because I didn't have goals set. I didn't have structures in place again. So we've lost a bit of that. So then you go back to that. And then, so I kind of try put everything through structures and goals now. And so that's kind of one element as well. I do as well, kind of for the business element is, because you can get very lost. You're just doing a million and one things, but you have no long-term, short-term, medium-term objective, and that definitely helps me with kind of keeping things on track.
Yeah, I think that's important to recalibrate every couple of months, once a year, whatever the crack is, and just to see where you're actually going. Because like you said, you can get stuck in the business and then you're walking away and then you look up and you're like, geez, what the fuck have I been doing the past like 6 months
Absolutely.
or so? I haven't pushed forward in any sense. So that's pretty good. Fair play to you. Also fair play to you for looking after yourself. I find that a lot of entrepreneurs, especially myself, like I've had a couple of burnouts and all that jazz, but it's really important to look after yourself, and I'm happy that you are doing that. So for the next 6 to 12 months, what way do you see yourself in business going? Obviously you're opening your new shop. Is there anything else? And then do you have anything personally that you're like to achieve within the next 6 to 12 months?
It's funny, like, so the shop comes down to kind of, it's back to, the model that I had, the kind of survival, the sustainability and growth. As much as this is actually, in theory, I feel I'm going to a location that will have more passing trade, I'll get more business, etc. But I'm back to survival mode as of the 15th of November, making this shop work. So for the next 6 to 12 months, that is actually the goal, making sure it's sustainable, keeping everything on track. And then like the growth, like it's in my business, the bit that I struggle with, to be honest with you, is that people come to me. It's not a coffee. It's not a thing that people enjoy my conversation, my haircuts, my personality. And what I'm trying to do actually in the long term is to completely step away from that and let people cut hair and have people booking with the other guys all the time. And not that I do nothing, but in theory, I'm then putting my abilities into growing other shops, growing other ventures, not necessarily in barbering. And that's the long-term goal. And that's nearly what is a struggle. Because even in days that, like, if you're off and stuff and you've other people in, and I've had great staff, they're very capable of doing great cuts and stuff like that, and great chats, etc. But the problem is that you are the brand, you are the face, and that's definitely something that I'm looking kind of to step away from, but let other people kind of grow the business for me in that sense, and keep it sustainable without me there, and be able to kind of look into other things. But to answer your question, in the short term, for the business, it's literally just kind of be sustainable, make sure everybody knows about it, get the branding right, marketing correct, that it's just consistently known. My other customers come with me, and that personally, yeah, it's a funny one. You know, I have different things. I'd like to get down to a certain handicap in golf. That's important to me.
Yeah.
A lot of other people don't care about it that much, but there's certain things in, for me personally, that is one of them.
Is that now,
you know,
so the lads don't take the piss out of you, or is it just like you just want to be like, fuck, yours are getting better?
No. I think sadly, kind of all of us were all kind of at the lower level, but I think I Jesus, as I only probably got into golf when I was about late 20s, and it's an absolute addiction, and you know, you want to get better and stuff like that. So that's kind of a personal goal, and to be honest, the rest is as well. Like, you know, I was talking to you saying that I have 2 weeks off here because I'm actually just moving shop. Now, I'm not moving shop 24 hours a day, and it's mental, but what I'm doing here is sitting down on a Friday morning, having a cup of coffee, and being able to take a break. And that's something that I have to focus on. You know, I definitely need to do that more. I need to go away with my partner as well. And like, you know, she'd send me 100 different kind of holiday things all the time and all. And I feel like an asshole being like, yeah, well, making excuses for this being wrong. And you go, no, Craig, take time off, do it. You know, do it for you, for her, for everything, for your friends as well. And so I definitely want to give myself 4 weeks off, or whatever that would be in the average kind of man for working. So and it helps. So and not to be afraid, oh geez, every customer leave if you take a holiday, you know, like, and so they're the kind of personal things, just to kind of enjoy myself a bit more, and get a bit better at golf.
That resonates a lot with me as well. But once again, thanks very much for having a chat with us. Really appreciate it. I look forward to seeing your new shop opening. I'll be watching online, although I'm not anywhere near Dundalk. I'll be watching you. I'll also be watching, looking for all your holidays in the upcoming year, making sure that you're going on them. And anyway, but thanks a million, Craig, for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it.
No bother at all. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.